What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Morbid Message Monday.
Turn down the thunder in the background just a bit, 'cause it's a little loud.
All right. The 2 out of 2 green screen said "fuck you." Yeah, maybe what I'll have Matt do instead is send me the intro, just with transparent instead of green screen.
Okay,
You can do that. I think.
I can try that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Morbid Message Monday. I'm sorry, I am just chipper because I'm so freaking excited to be back.
I'm stoked to be back with this. I'm so happy to be back with this.
So happy. It's been so long, it feels like, you know? Now look at Jake. Now look at Matt. Now look at Jake again.
I spent the whole day making this, so like.
Matt
Congrats.
fucking killed it with this. How'd you get in the TV now? Matt fucking killed this,
The
and it's
secrets
only gonna get better.
lie
We're gonna
within
do
us.
we're gonna do even more, but we wanted to get this done because earlier today I go, "Hey Matt, I had this idea for the thing," and he was like, "Cool, let me make it." And I was like, "God, I wish I would have had this idea sooner."
Well, and then
But,
I
you
was
know.
like, fuck yeah. I was like, I was going to edit today, but fuck it. I'm just going to do this instead. And it took me all day.
This is way more exciting anyway. So yes, welcome back to Morbid Message Monday. Everyone, I'm so fucking excited.
So once there's that.
Yeah, today we are doing something ooky, terrible, spooky, and awful. You see him in the window right there, in fact, if you're watching. If you're listening, Robert Pickton showed up in the window. Today, we're doing
hanging
our
with us.
first ever serial killer. And he's from Canada. Today, we are talking about Robert Willie Picton.
Oh, Willie.
Oh, Willie. Oh, Willie, 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 Willie.
Is this my pigs are?
Man, so Willie actually goes by Bob at points. He goes by Rob at points. He goes by Robert.
It was
at
very
points.
confusing while I was researching this because I was like, who the
This
fuck
fucking
is this
dipshit.
guy?
This fucking dipshit had a pen pal, okay, in the 1980s or 70s, I think. Actually, it's 1970s.
Yeah.
And he sent her an audio recording of himself, and he called it Bob's Memoirs.
Ugh.
Apparently Bob was his business name. Anyway, none of that matters. Guys, how's everybody doing tonight? It's great to see you all.
It's good to see you all.
So fucking stoked to be back.
How are you all
So,
doing?
yeah, how's everybody feeling tonight? I think we're gonna really jump in because this is a thick.
I'm jacked.
This is gonna be a
It's thick.
thick series.
Thick series.
Oh boy,
I know, we're
she
coming
thick.
back with a series. I love that. I
Ooh, we're
fucking
coming
love
back
that.
with at least a 2-part series, probably 3 or 4.
thinking
I'm so fucking ready.
This one goes
Oh,
to
I'm so excited. It's a thick, dirty series. Matt, you've learned a little bit about Willie Picton. Tell me your
learned
thoughts.
a lot of things that I didn't want to learn about this man. I also learned that this area in Vancouver is essentially like the worst place on the planet, apparently.
Low track, man.
Low track, yeah. It's just... you always think of Canada and... Oh, hey, look, there's the amulet. Speaking of
Amulet.
Canadians.
Good to see you.
Speaking yeah.
of Canadians.
This is just a horrible fucking place in Canada. And like...
It is
and like,
terrible.
oh my God, man.
Yeah, low
So
track,
bad.
man.
Low
East
track amulet.
downtown Vancouver. It's there. It's just not right in the center because I had the room thing in front of it that you made.
Do you guys like
Really-
seeing him in the window? Isn't he a welcoming presence?
Isn't it welcoming? I love that. I think it's great. That's
I'm
Robert
excited
Willie
to do
Picton
that
right in the
more.
window there, by the way.
I'm excited because this whole setup is completely customizable to whatever the fuck we want.
And it's just like custom made by Matt, guys. This is fucking sick.
So stoked about it. The only thing I don't like is that box in the corner. It just does not look right.
Which box?
The box, the wooden
Like
crate.
the
it
actual
just,
box in the
yeah, the
bottom.
wooden crate it
Next
just
to the
does not
tire,
look
you
right.
fucking strange person.
I was looking for weird shit that would be sitting in a garage, and so I was like, "Fuck it, here's some tires."
He's comforting. He watches you while you sleep. Yeah, he's like Santa Claus. He's like a Canadian pig shit Santa Claus.
He brings you bacon.
He brings you
And
bacon.
murders your family.
But, folks, I would like to extend to you a viewer discretion for tonight. Because This is a horrific story. Tonight, you're not going to hear as much about the horrible, murders or anything like that. We're going to get into the early life of Robert Willie Picton. So you will have to experience things such as animal mutilation, child abuse, and, murder. There is still murder.
There's murder.
Just not by Robert Willie Picton.
Go ahead and...
So, Robert Willie Picton, he's Canada's most notorious serial killer. He's known as the Pig Farm Killer and the Butcher, also known as Little Piggy. I'm just kidding. I just call him that because that's a fun
Little
name.
Piggy.
Little Piggy. He was convicted for the murder of 6 women from the infamous East Downtown side of Vancouver, known as the Low Track, and charged with an additional 20 on top of that. But he has confessed to 49 murders. 49 murders.
A lot of them were saying he was just trying to go for 50.
Yeah, I did see that. He actually told somebody in prison, like, I wanted to make it an even 50. And by the way, I'm going to be doing a terrible Canadian accent for Willie Picton, so if it offends you, get over it.
Get over it.
Many of them were sex workers or drug addicts, and Picton got away with his absolutely absurd amount of murders due to a terrible lack of investigative prowess on the police's end. Now, again, I want to give you all one more warning. This is a horrific story, but you knew that.
Yeah.
Now,
you knew it was going to be bad.
Robert Willie Picton was born in 1949 in Port Coquitlam, Canada. He was brought into the earth by Leonard and Louise Picton 1 year after his sister and a year prior to his brother Dave. Dave is a piece of shit. Linda, on the other hand, is the smartest member of this entire family. Now, Picton himself was a scrawny little rat-faced, let's call him slow individual. He's a piece of shit. He was really stupid, is really stupid. He's still alive, by the way. His birth was a bit of a challenge as the umbilical cord had wrapped around his neck to the point of where they thought he might have suffered brain damage. Now, they never found any actual evidence of this, but I mean, in 1949, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they even have the means to look for it? I mean,
well, exactly. Well, and you know about the McDonald triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the 3 things that can make a person a serial killer.
Right.
One of which is, oftentimes a head injury causing brain damage. So maybe we're seeing that, but in general, he doesn't have a lot of the traits that many other serial killers have. He was not one that really abused animals. He wasn't a constant bedwetter or anything like that, and he didn't suffer any particular head trauma. Now, other than this, perhaps, he was very obsessed with his mom. I mean, he had a weird obsession with his mom. And don't get me wrong, we all love our moms, right? I mean, I do. I do. I know you do. Some people don't, but hey, that's all right.
It's true. There are some people who do not.
He was obsessed with his mom. Her name was Helen Louise Picton. Now, I will preface with saying there's not a whole lot on Robert Picton's early life, especially because during the investigation, you're not allowed in Canada to release a lot of details about killers,
right?
To the press or anything like that. However, I did pick up a copy of On the Farm by Stevie Cameron, which is an absolutely fantastic book thus far. I'm 2 chapters in. Much more about the early life than I thought there was. So from what you're going to hear today, that is mainly from On the Farm by Stevie Cameron, which is an incredible book. Definitely go check it out. Super good for any true crime nerds out there. Very, very good.
Right.
Anyway, back to the story. Now, Louise Picton was a very domineering woman. She was short, stout, and had a temper, an attitude. She was very business forward, and she really, really pushed the Picton family into the success that they ended up seeing later on. Now, she was so domineering, in fact, that she covered up a case of vehicular manslaughter perpetrated by Dave Pickton, Willie's brother.
She wasn't a good lady.
Not a good lady. No. We'll get more into that in a little bit. Now, Louise Picton had a shrill, high-pitched voice, but she was loud. And again, domineering, and she was very, very defensive of her kids. Okay.
She loved her kids. Love them.
Now, her face was round, and she herself was short and stout. She had no teeth. They'd all rotted out. So, she's like, she's dead.
Coming all the way.
She's coming. But can you imagine this? She got a shrill, high-pitched voice, and she can't talk. You know? So
Can you just imagine that screaming at you from across the farm?
And actually being afraid.
Is it a pig?
You're afraid of this woman because she will. I mean, she'll cover up for your crimes, and we'll get into that in a little bit. She has some so that, you know, Canadian accent. That's what I said, for those of you wondering.
Right. That's it. That's the accent.
Yeah, it led her to being pretty unintelligible in what she was saying. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood remember, like, she's an unforgettable person because you couldn't understand what she was saying. And she was oftentimes very, very business forward, very serious person. However, now here's something else about
do a business deal with a woman like that.
Oh, I know.
And she take that seriously.
The Pictons were actually very, very successful.
I mean, they had a very good farm. Like,
they did.
You'll learn about how good this farm was.
Too good, perhaps. Yeah. and all of this is due in part to Louise Picton, because listen, Leonard Pickton, who we'll talk about more in a moment, was very much out of the picture. He was old as hell. I think he was 77 when he met Louise Picton.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't have an exact detail. I was reading about it earlier, but decided to leave it out. It was disgusting. Very gross. Anyway, now, Louise Picton had some very strange qualities about her, super strange. One of which was a very thick goatee. She had a full goatee and a very thick mustache that she never did a damn thing about. And you know what? Girl boss, whatever. If you want to have a goatee,
you're
that's
describing
fine.
A goat. Slowly but surely, you're describing a goat with no teeth.
That was, I'm going to have a goatee if I want to, and you're not going to tell me anything. Goatee with no molars. Exactly. So no, she really, she let all of her teeth rot out, and so did Leonard. I mean, they were pretty much walking, talking.
This family did not keep up with themselves, at all.
Everybody but Linda. We'll say Linda. Linda, she is a smart one. Yeah, Linda over there.
Linda had the good. She had the good one.
Yeah, she was the smart one. Now, Louise Picton also had lost most of her hair. She would cover it up with a kerchief. So she had little patches of hair all over her. I mean, if you can just see this woman, it's fucking terrifying. She always wore a cotton house dress over a pair of men's jeans. Right. So, I mean, honestly, and this comparison was made by our friends over our last podcast on the left, but imagine the Canadian version of the Texas Chainsaw Family.
Right.
But real and in existence, these people exist.
Listening to this story, the more I listened to it, the more I read into it, it seemed like this is something that shouldn't have it couldn't have existed. But it did.
Dude, I mean, a lot of this seems like, okay, you're really trying too hard to be spooky. You're trying too hard to be scary. If you see this in a horror script, it's like, okay, calm down. We got to tone it down. People aren't going to believe this.
Right. This is going to be rated NC-17 if we keep going.
Exactly. No one could ever recall seeing her in any sort of normal shoes. She would only ever wear large gum boots. And if you're wondering what gum boots are, they're like industrial rain boots.
Yeah.
And it made her waddle like a duck. Basically, everywhere she went, she kind of waddled like a little duck. Now, Louise Picton would also go on to basically be culpable for the murder of a 14-year-old boy. That boy's name was Tim Barrett. And here comes some viewer discretion. 14-year-old boy is going to die. Good old Timmy Barrett. Oh, you remember the story, old Timmy Barrett? I heard Louise Picton murdered him. Oh, yeah, you don't want You don't want to mess with no Louise Picton. She'll fucking eat you. Anyway, Tim Barrett was walking near the Pictons' farm one day when he was hit by a truck driven by the then 17-year-old Dave Pickton.
Oh, Dave.
And we're just jumping right in.
Yeah.
A little bit of backstory on Tim Barrett. Tim Barrett's parents actually were both doctors at the mental hospital that was just up the way from the Pictons' farm, because Port Coquitlam was generally a very rich kind of neighborhood filled with doctors, especially those working at the mental hospital. Mm-hmm. And his parents were the same. They're, I believe, Air Force doctors.
Right.
Something like that. So he lived a couple blocks away from the Pictons. Now, I don't know why Dave Pickton hit him with the truck, because he hit him from behind. So I don't think he was.
Everything that I found said that it was because he was just an inexperienced driver and not paying attention. So a lot of the hearsay seems to be that, like, he just didn't know. Like, he hit him, he got out, he was like, oh my God, I hit somebody. He didn't know what to do.
Oh no, what do I do? I'm Dave Pickton.
So he went home to Mama, and that's where this continues, because once Mama knew, shit started to happen, because, you know, he hit the kid, and he didn't know. He didn't know what to do.
Here's the thing, though. Dave Pickton is a fucking piece of shit.
Oh, no, of course.
So I thoroughly believe that Dave Pickton just ran him down.
Well, and I think it's because there was so many negligent, like, things that happened with, like, this whole family. Yeah. Like, they were just never investigated properly. So
God, no. Oh God.
Right. So I don't think they ever got to, like, finding out why or how that happened.
No, they didn't.
Right.
Now, like Matt said, Tim, who was just run down by Dave Pickton, that big fucking stinky piece of shit, at the age of 17. And this is a little bit fast forwarding, obviously. We're going to go a little in and out on time periods. Just kind of have to go with us on this. Sorry, guys. Now, Tim was already presumed dead at that point by Dave Pickton due to severe hemorrhaging from his head. Now, Dave went home to Mama and Dad, actually. Leonard was in on this as well. And instead of calling the ambulance or calling the police or anything like, oh my God, there was an accident, they went into what? Full-on cover-up mode. I mean, they went beyond cover-up mode. I read a little bit more about this earlier, so this is going to be a little bit off of what I wrote here. But Leonard and Louise both were like, okay, first of all, Dave, you need to take this truck over to our garage. Or, I'm sorry, let me try to... Dave, you need to take the truck over to the garage. What you're going to do over at the garage, you're going to ask him, you're going to tell him, okay, a pole hit your car. What hit your car? It was a pole, okay? All right. Now, it wasn't going to be a boy. You didn't hit a boy. You hit a pole. A pole hit it. However, the dent on the side of his car where he hit Tim Barrett was perfectly bowl-shaped. So you can't really say
well, they went so far to tell him to, like, repaint it, like, do all sorts of shit to cover it up.
Absolutely. He was like, make sure they paint over it. And and here's the thing about the Pictons. They're walking, talking garbage people. Like, 200%. This truck was probably covered in pig shit, and it had dents all over it. And even the guy who worked at the garage was like, this is strange. Why do you care all of a sudden? There's dents all over your car. Why do you want this one car?
Right. Why does it matter
dent?
now?
Exactly. And they had tried to paint over the dent where the blood was with red house paint for whatever reason.
You imagine that conversation. Why do you care about this now? Well, that was a kid. Oh, what?
But that's the thing. He said, oh, it was a telephone pole. It just ran and hit my car. And he seemed like really nervous and like excitable. That's what the man said in his recollection.
Right.
Now, okay, so Dave goes to the garage and they say, okay, Dave, like we'll fix it up, whatever. We'll just knock this dent out. But the mechanic was like, well, Dave, normally there's dents all over the car. They could fix this themselves, but I went ahead and did it anyway. So Dave goes back. Louise Picton, poor fucking Tim Barrett. Louise Picton was tasked with handling the body. Okay. Louise
I don't
Picton
even want
walked
to say
over.
she was tasked. She just took it on.
She just fucking domineered. She said, you know what? I'm going to do this. She went over to Tim Barrett's body. She saw him there. And without even thinking, she rolled him into a ditch. A ditch with about, 2 inches of water? I think is what, something like that.
It was something like that. But she also saw that he was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So this kid was...
no. She didn't see that he was alive.
Did she not? Everything I read said she saw he was alive.
Oh, well, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But she rolled him into the ditch nonetheless. Now, amazingly enough, Tim was still alive.
Yeah.
Yes, he had bruises, beatings. I mean, he was hemorrhaging from his head. But the medical examiner, the guy who did the autopsy, said, like, those things would not have killed him. In fact, he would have been pretty much fine.
He would have fully recovered.
He would have fully recovered. So what did Tim Barrett die of, Matt?
He drowned.
He drowned.
In 2 inches of water.
Yeah. 2 inches of water.
Because even though
a ditch.
Even though he wasn't dead, he was basically immobilized.
Yeah.
Broken bones, head trauma.
If he would have got up from this, he would have had some problems, obviously.
Right. But like there was enough to keep him to where he couldn't roll himself over and like get out of the water. So he drowned.
He drowned, literally.
Yeah.
Which, and it's like, here's the thing about Louise Picton. She could not have cared less.
No, she just rolled him into the ditch.
Just rolled him into the ditch because, oh, my little Davy. Oh, no, my little Davy.
Well, and you can tell she didn't care because she just rolled him into a ditch right next to where he was hit. Who the fuck does that?
She didn't think to say, okay, how, is he okay? Should I call an ambulance?
Well, and in the history of serial killers, instead of thinking, I should take him a mile away and hide the body, she's like, I'm just going to push and call it good.
Now, in On the Farm, there's a really, really detailed account of his father, like, finding his body. Super depressing. I decided to leave that out. But Tim Barrett died at the age of 14.
He did.
Now, this was mainly due in part to Louise Picton. Dave Pickton started it, but Louise Picton very much murdered this 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, because technically, like, Dave didn't kill him.
No,
he just didn't kill him. Mortally wounded him.
Yeah, he just wounded him really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. Could have maybe even paralyzed him, but he didn't kill him.
Yeah, it was Mama.
It was Mama Pickton all along. Now, Dave did get in trouble for this. He actually did, because the police, because the mechanic was reading in the newspaper the next day that there was a hit and run that killed a 14-year-old boy.
Yep.
And he immediately thought of Dave Pickton. Why did Dave Pickton come in for this? And why did this, that, and this? You know what I mean? So,
God, that boy just wanted the dent removed from the dentest fucking car I've ever seen.
Yeah, he wanted the dent removed from the pig shit covered car that's just fucking destroyed anyway. So fuck it. So he told the police, and here's what happened. Dave Pickton did get in trouble. You want to know what his punishment was, everybody? You want to know? You really want to know?
I do want to know.
He was convicted of not staying at the scene of an accident. Yeah. His license was revoked until he was 21 years old. Oh, poor Dave Pickton.
I mean, to be fair, it would have been hard for them to get him on the murder charge.
Vehicular manslaughter.
That's true. Vehicular manslaughter would have been the next
anything
thing I would have thought about.
else.
Yeah, anything
Hit
else
and
than
run.
leaving the scene of a crime.
There's a million different things.
It's true. That's very
Now,
true.
this story was recalled by Lisa Yelds and is what many believe was a seminal moment showing Willie Picton that you cannot be prosecuted without evidence of wrongdoing. Now, let's be real. Did the cops try here? Not really.
No.
They were like, okay, well, he's dead, and, whatever. The Picton boy did it. They have a lot of money. Let's just let him
We slapped his wrist. We're good.
We slapped his wrist. He can't drive till he's 21. That way he can drink when he's driving. Anyway.
At 17, he's an adult. Well, it's actually kind of true in Canada.
This was like 1970.
Could have been younger back then.
This was like, he was born in 1950, Dave Pickton was. So this would have been 1967 is when this happens. I don't know what the day would have been like.
Very true.
Back then. But, he wasn't prosecuted nonetheless, and Louise Picton got away with murder as a result. I mean, I'm not over-exaggerating when I say this.
She did. She got away with it.
She got away with murder.
They never They never really even looked at her.
And how did people know that Louise Picton was culpable for this? Well, she told them. She told she told a lot, family friends and stuff like that. And
She
one
bragged
kid,
about it.
she did. She bragged about it. She even told the kid, like, don't mess with me because, this is what's going to happen to you.
I'll roll your ass into a ditch.
Roll your ass into a ditch. Now, another fond memory of Willie's.
This one, okay, so this one upset me.
Yeah.
This one
absolutely.
was this is that thing. Like, this is that thing in a story where like things were already teetering on the edge and it just pushed.
This is the real making a murderer.
Yeah,
aspect.
that was it.
This is very strongly probably where Willie was pushed to his limit and driven to be a murderer later in life.
Yeah.
Now, Willie, he was working the farm, obviously, so he was saving up his money. And he saved up enough money to go pick himself up a prized pet. It was his calf, his black and white calf that he was so proud of. He loved this cow. He said, I am going to keep this cow for the rest of my life because I just love this cow so much. Well, one day.
Got it for $1.
Willie, yeah, he got it for $1. But back then, that's he saved up his money.
Yeah,
this is like
expensive.
I think he was 12, so it was like 1961, I think, because he was born in 49.
Save cow.
So, yeah, it was like this was his prized possession. He loved this cow.
Right.
He probably did some horrible, we're not going to get into that. Anyway, now, Willie Picton went home and he was concerned. He went into his room and his cow's not there. Where's my cow? I love this cow. Where the fuck is my cow?
Right.
So he goes to his mom. His mom doesn't know where the cow is. And he goes to Dave. Dave doesn't know where the cow is. And Lynn has no idea where the cow is. And so he goes to Leonard. Leonard Picton, who was, his father. And his father, a real piece of shit, known as Piggy by the local farmers.
He was a total ass.
A total fucking piece of shit. Abusive, horrible man.
Yeah, he was
awful.
Horrible.
Old as shit, but still somehow horrifically abusive. Now, Leonard was like, I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is, Willie. I don't know. And he was like, well, can you help me find him? He's like, well, maybe you should go look in the slaughterhouse. Go look in the barn. In the barn. That's what he said.
Right.
And Willie Picton, 12 years. I think he was 12. I don't know the exact age. If you want to fact check me on that, go ahead. He went into the slaughterhouse and he found his prized cow, his calf, his baby calf, with a hook in it, slaughtered, butchered by Leonard Piggy Picton.
Daddy killed the cow.
Daddy killed the cow. In fact, this was
so fucked up.
Yeah, it's awful. And this is
the
a
one
direct
thing your kid has.
Seriously, why would you do that? It's like, you're making a sociopath, right? Like, you're literally turning him into what he's about to become.
He wanted the veal.
And I don't know if they even ate it because Willie was so fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure they didn't. And the Pictons as a family were already so popular and not helpful, but successful as farmers.
Yes.
So it's like, a calf isn't going to be shit. So he did it. Now, this is a direct quote from Willie Picton. That was a good $1 for the calf. You can go buy another. And I says, no, I was going to keep that calf for the rest of my life. And now it's gone. That really upset me, but that happens. That's life. I mean, we're only here for so long. When your time is over, your time is over.
That's it. That's the word. That's the words that made him a serial killer. That's
right there. When your time is over, your time is over. This man has zero value for human life.
No,
zero.
Well, the only thing he had value over was slaughtered by his father.
And his mom even offered to give him like $20, like, go get a new calf. But he didn't talk to anybody for, I believe, 4 days.
Right.
So, it was just, God. Can you just imagine, what a monster. Why would you do that to him?
Right. Like, what in their mind told them to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's what I don't get.
The fuck is wrong with Leonard Picton to go like, oh, you know what? Today I'm going to fucking ruin Willie. Let's ruin Willie.
I feel like killing a cow.
Yeah, I feel like murdering his prized calf. This is a great idea. Love this.
He just got it. I think it needs to have a hook inside of it.
Exactly. Now, Leonard Picton, to get a little bit more detail, he was distant, but when he was around, he was incredibly abusive.
Right.
I mean, he was really abusive towards Willie, less so towards Dave, and pretty much non-existent towards Linda. Again, Linda was the only one of this entire family that.
Well, so Linda didn't live with them.
Not immediate. Like, she after a while moved out.
Right. She moved out. I forgot where she moved.
She moved to Vancouver.
Vancouver. So she was kind of safe.
She got out when she pretty much could.
Yeah.
Like as quickly as she could. Because, when you live with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, you want to get out of there. If you're a normal person. Now, they had, so Louise and Leonard owned a pig farm, obviously. Right. And they had their kids, Dave and Robert, Willie, work for the farm since they were pretty young. So far as like they've pretty much been working the farm their entire lives. Something that I neglected to put in here is Louise started a meat locker business.
Oh, yes, the freezer.
Called, B&C. So she would store, everybody's meats in her meat locker.
Yeah.
And it was actually a very lucrative business. And this is one of the ways that the Pictons became kind of a household name, a stinky ass household name. Like everybody knew they were.
It was a big industrial like freezer. Like they could store. Yeah, they could store hundreds of carcasses.
Yeah.
So it worked.
It was great. For somebody who never changed their clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Maybe that was more acceptable back then.
Yeah.
The FDA wasn't really a thing.
No.
Food
this is the 60s.
Wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it's very true. Again, Linda was the only one in the entire family that went on to be any sort of normal person, and that's by Pickton standards, and that's because she moved away from the Pickton house as soon as she fucking could. She was out. She was like, I'm getting out of here. This is over.
She was smart.
Again, Leonard Pickton was called Piggy because of his affinity for pigs. He actually liked his nickname quite a bit.
Well,
he liked being known as Piggy. He did. He loved pigs. In fact, they had about 700 pigs on their farm.
And these pigs free roamed. They'd come to the house. They would just hang out.
Yes, they would. They would just roam all over. Who gives a shit? And it's so crazy. Oh, God. Oh, can you imagine the smell?
No, the stink. The fact that they track everything in with them. Like, you just slap the pigs and they come back in the house just trailing it all over the place.
Oh, God. They live in... these are pig people.
Yeah, this was a very filthy place.
This could be seen as something, cute to like the right hipster or something like that. Oh, he lives with his pigs. That's great. He's natural. Like he loves that. These are not those kind of people.
This people had an unhealthy
obsession with their pigs. Yeah. Oh God, the worst.
Gross.
Now, Dave and Willie were very, very, very stinky. But before I get into that, the Pickton home was just disgusting. I mean, horrific. Willie lived in the basement. Yep. Dave had a room upstairs. Their living room actually didn't have any furniture in it. The only furniture they had in the living room was a fucking mattress.
Yeah.
It's just one single mattress in the living room. And again, the pigs were allowed inside. The pigs were everywhere. They'd run around. They'd shit. They would just disgusting.
It's the shit you see in a movie.
It is. Again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, there's...
It's
some
so
very
bad.
like staunch similarities. It's just the Canadian Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Dave and Willie
all over your bed.
God, just the smell. Like why would you do that?
No, not at all.
And how does that feel normal to you?
No, it couldn't. There's no way that could feel normal. I'm sorry.
Now Dave and Willie, they wore the same clothes every day. And actually the entire family, other than Linda, wore the same clothes every day. And they're all, oh, fucking Linda, look at you over there. You think you're so much better than us. And then she left.
She had 2 pairs of clothes. No, I'm just kidding.
She had 2 pairs. Exactly. They wore the same clothes.
Yeah.
Every day. And it was like a flannel jeans boots. They never took their boots off. It was a big thing. They wouldn't even take their boots off when they were bathing. It was disgusting.
When and if they bathed.
Yeah, when and if they bathed. And, well, Willie. He did not bathe. He wasn't a man of bathing. In fact, the house didn't have a shower.
Yeah.
So the house didn't have a shower. They did have one tub, and Willie would take a bath once a month. And this went on into his later life. Now, as you can probably have guessed by now, Willie wasn't very good in school. like, at all. He was terrible in school, actually. And he dropped out of school in 9th grade. And I believe at the time he was 15.
Yeah, it was like 14
and
or
he
15.
had just finally gotten through 8th grade. So, yeah. And in fact, the story of how he got kicked out of school is hilarious. So, there's a place called the Cracker Shack, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
And Willie got, have you ever seen those like weird little nudie pens? Like the pens from like way back in the day. And you'd flip it upside down and the lady's dress would go down and like, there was like a naked lady.
Yeah.
So he brought that to school and the principal found him and was like, what the fuck, dude, what the fuck? You can't be doing that. And he threatened to beat his ass and he threatened to kick him out of school. Okay. Now, Willie didn't like school anyway. He was terrible at school. He was dumb as fuck. Willie Picton is a goddamn moron. The only thing he's good at is pigs.
Yeah.
Like literally. The only thing he's good
not
at
to be
is
mean,
pigs.
he was very stupid.
Yeah, he's an incredibly stupid. I don't give a fuck if it's mean. I would bully Willie Picton every goddamn day of the week.
By the end of the series, you'll hate this person.
Oh my God, you will.
You'll despise them.
Oh man. But, anyway, so he was in school. He had the nudie pen. The principal said, give me the nudie pen. He said, hell no. You kicked me out of school. Whatever. So he gets kicked out of school in 9th grade. Right. Now, Louise Picton was like, fuck yeah. Or, which means, yeah, Willie, you get to work full time now.
He gummed at the opportunity.
And Willie was sent to be an apprentice butcher. We'll get more into that later. Yeah. Now, in the time that Willie was in school, however, he and Dave would both go home 2 to 3 times a day to slop the pigs for a total of about 4 slops a day. Now, if you're wondering what slopping pigs is, it's feeding them, basically. Yeah. You're just giving them corn mash and just...
It's amazing that they were able to leave school and do that so much.
They didn't give a fuck about school. He was 15 in 8th grade.
Well, no, I understand. I understand, like the school not caring. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, the school didn't care. The Pictons had a real reputation.
Yeah, I suppose the reputation would precede them.
And now, weirdly enough, Dave actually went on to graduate, and he had a fairly normal life. Even though the only difference between Dave and Willie is Dave had any sort of charisma, or not charisma, charm, I guess. He could talk to people.
Yeah.
Dave had girlfriends and Dave had friends and stuff like that. It was weird because he smelled the same as Willie. He wore the same things every single day. Like he was the stinky ass motherfucker. But for some reason, people would kind of take an affinity to Dave. Yeah. And which is, especially because Dave, again, he may not have been a serial killer, but he's still a real piece of shit.
He was a piece of shit and he smelled like shit. Like, I mean, why do you hang out with that? But I guess some people are attracted to that.
I fucking guess. I feel like he just had a car. And everybody was like, "Oh, Dave."
That's what it was. It was the car, or it was the money from the farm. Who knows what it was?
Yeah, he was pig rich.
Pig rich.
Pig rich. Now, before we get into more on Dave, Willie actually had what is it? What the fuck is it? An irrational fear of showers.
He did. He was terrified of them.
Like horrified of showers, especially of water hitting his face. He couldn't stand the idea of water hitting his face or a shower.
I wonder what it is that caused that.
There's somebody for everybody. You know what, Z-Rimmers? Dave Pickton was he's a real Casanova of the Pictons, you know?
But loved him. Indirect Steak, hi, hello.
Hey, what's going on, Indirect Steak? Panic Commander, country high school.
What does cause that, though?
Like, car and the ability to drive.
Right. What does cause that? A fear of being hit in the face by water?
I don't know. He's probably full of shit. So, but yeah, he had hydrophobia to an extent. But the other thing that Willie Picton said later in life is that he may not have had a sense of smell. He couldn't smell anything. I think that's bullshit. And I think he just knew that anytime he went into a room, everything would die because he smelled so bad.
Interesting.
Because he couldn't smell it. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I mean, eventually you become nose blind to it. So
I guess. I mean, how can you become nose blind?
I just don't know.
Oh, I know you heard that sound alert. That's all right. I had forgotten to turn it off.
I don't know if you could become that nose blind because, like, I mean, some people could become like nose blind to like their houses and stuff, but like body odors and then like pig shit and like just the combination of like how god awful that person had to smell.
Mm-hmm.
Could you possibly go nose blind to that?
Now, Dave, we'll get back to Dave Pickton now. Oh wait, there was one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rumor
Yes.
that went around that Willie, when he wanted to go to his quiet place, when he wanted to
Oh God.
essentially
shit,
meditate, that he needed to get away from everybody. Okay, like so, like when the calf was butchered, Willie would hide in a carcass of a gutted boar, literally laying down in it, like this is my quiet place.
Crawl on in there, man.
Crawl
the
on in.
The thunder sound is built into the stream.
Yeah, that's part of the screen. Anyway, he would crawl into a gutted boar.
Like you've seen Star Wars, right? You've seen Star
Bantha.
Wars. You Bantha.
No, not Bantha. What is it called?
No, it was a Tauntaun.
Tauntaun. Yeah, there we go.
He crawled into it, but this kid would like actively scooch himself into the chest cavity of a dead boar and just
inside of his room.
Enjoy the silence.
Which is the basement, by the way.
Yeah, so he had this dead carcass in his room, and he would just crawl inside of it.
And you already know that Willie Picton is a stinky motherfucker, but he lived in a basement in Port Coquitlam that would flood in the spring, so he had mold everywhere. His mattress just had a big black line across the entire thing.
Just the more you read about it and the more you think about it, you just realize how ungodly, unsanitary,
horrific
filthy this fucking place was.
Absolutely, like, disgusting.
So bad.
I couldn't even. Okay, just ugh. But then again, this is a rumor. It sounds like one of those like town rumors. Oh yeah, the old Pickton farm. You know, Willie, he liked sleeping in the boars.
I wouldn't doubt it though.
I wouldn't either. Not with what we've
with the way that this happens, like with the way it works, like it just I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Yep. It's nope. No. Now, Dave Pickton, we already know he's a real piece of shit. He essentially got away with vehicular manslaughter, allegations of sexual assault. He was friends with the Hells Angels, like all sorts of just awfulness. Dave Pickton had something really funny about him, though. He sounded, especially when he was trying to be serious, he sounded like Elmer Fudd. You remember Elmer Fudd? You talk like that. He was a Bill. You know, Bill go.
Well, there were questions that he wasn't like all there, you know, like he was also kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Not only was he abusive, but, you know, he was very just not intelligent.
My dad has a good point. The whole family should have died of dysentery. I don't know
how they fucking didn't. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's beyond me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, don't get it.
Now, a little bit later down the road, some tragedy struck the Pictons. On New Year's, oh my God, I can't remember when he died. I don't fucking care. Leonard died at the ripe age of, how old do you think Leonard was when he died?
Wasn't he like 80 or something?
He was 91.
Oh, he lasted longer than I thought.
He was 91, and I don't remember the exact year. You know what? Hold on. Leonard
he lived out.
Leonard Picton death date.
When did he die?
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's so hard to find. Leonard Picton. Let me just Google Leonard Picton.
I mean, he was a complete and total piece of shit.
He died in 1978, New Year's Day of 1978.
So, what did that make him? That was like...
He was 91. Or Willie?
Yeah.
Willie was, I believe...
No, not Willie. I'm sorry. His dad, yeah.
Okay, so Willie was 19, though, when he died.
Okay.
Now...
At this point, he was already so fucked up, it's beyond...
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no fixing... There was no fixing anything, so...
No, and he was 91, you know, and
Right.
Louise, like I said, she'd married him much later down the line. Now, that's not the only horrible thing that happened to the Pickton family. That same year, one of their piggeries caught on fire, killing about 600 pigs. Now, can you imagine, though?
That's a pigs.
What? So I know we're talking a lot about smells here, but can you imagine what that smelled like?
600 burning pigs.
600 burning pigs. I don't know. I
God.
might be a little hungry after that, dude.
Yeah, it might
just
smell
got the
good for the
crackle.
first part, but you have to also understand that it's also burning shit.
It is burning shit.
So it's burning shit.
It's true.
It's burning hair. It's burning slop. Bacon.
It's true. You're not wrong there.
It was a stank bacon.
Stank bacon. Yeah,
Stank bacon.
You heard it here first.
That's the official term
shit.
for it.
The pig shit that was on fire was known as stank bacon.
So gross.
Yeah, no. The sound of the pigs in death throes while the fire raged in the smells. Now, what does McDonald use to make their food? That would be
stank bacon.
600 burning pigs and everything around it. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. They lost one of their piggeries. So, Willie naturally is very upset about this because he loved him some pigs. Now,
that was his flock.
April 1st, 1979. The domineer, the horrible, the awful, the fucking, I don't even know what to call her, the goateed woman. Louise passes away.
The goateed woman.
Did
she take her goatee with her?
Rain boots. She did. She'd never shaved that thing, man. She kept it. She kept it the whole time.
God.
She passed away, 1979.
So many confusing things to try to have a conversation with that woman.
Yeah. Now, once Louise and Leonard passed away, the farm was split between the three children.
Yep.
Dave and Linda didn't really want it. They were like, okay, Dave had his little plans with it, but Linda was like, I'm going to get rid of as much as I can.
Oh, she didn't. Family. She didn't give a shit. She just wanted to be gone.
She wanted to get the fuck out. She was smart.
Wanted to be out.
I want to reiterate, Linda is smart. But in time, they decided to sell off portions of their family's land. And
it's a good penny. You make a good penny.
So fucking infuriating. We won't actually talk about that just yet. But Willie, he was left some interesting things. So they were all left with, I believe, $10,000.
Right.
And that was 1979 money. But Willie was actually promised 10,000 more just 10 years down the line. That was one of the things. Now, again, they were all left pieces of the farm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And in 1994, from 1994 to 1995, Willie and Dave actually sold parts of their land to an urban developer for a sum of like $5 million.
Jesus.
So
big fucking money back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge money back then.
But they started selling off land earlier than that as well. And they were
right.
kind of shrewd business people to an extent. Now, Willie started a new farm. And believe he just moved to a different area. He bought a trailer, he put it on there. And a former farm worker named Bill Hiscox recalls Willie being quiet and quite strange. He actually had a 600-pound boar that was basically his guard dog. Literally, this pig would chase you down like a Rottweiler. Yeah, right. 10K in 1979 is roughly 38 to 39,000. Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty good considering, all it was them dying. And obviously they have the land there. And Port Coquitlam ended up being a very, very sought after place to live in British Columbia.
So
yeah, and it's fucking strange. Well, it's not actually. I mean, it was very well off. The Pictons were just the horrible people who happened to
they were the horrible chunk there,
yeah, exactly. But whatever the case was, anyway, Willie had a pig that would chase you down like a Rottweiler.
Right.
He also recalled Willie having a converted bus with heavily tinted windows. And this will come more into play in episode 2. We'll get more into that as we go. However, at this point, we're gonna go over a couple more details about his early life, and then we're gonna get to where we're going, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, once the Pictons passed away, the three kids went into different lines of work. Dave went into construction, particularly glazing. Not sure why. Linda went into business and left
Just-
everyone behind because she's smart.
She was smart.
And
She was
Willie,
very smart.
well, old Willie Picton, he
I
went
think
in.
you can guess. Like, you
Yeah,
could
he went
just
into
guess.
a peculiar business. Just kidding. It's not peculiar for him. He went into the butchering business.
He started growing hemp.
He started growing hemp. That's what he was doing. He was growing hemp. Now, when we're coming back, but when Willie
Right.
started his apprenticeship as a butcher, he was actually not a big fan of butchering animals. He didn't
No.
like it.
How could
You
you
know.
be after your father butchered your favorite friend?
I mean, you're not wrong. But in time, Willie kind of took a shine to it. In fact, he was a quite talented butcher. He was kind of known for being a great butcher in the area, slaughtering animals. He actually, at one point, was able to butcher as many as 24 animals in a day.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
Quite a
it's
few.
that's quite a few. And the thing is, Willie, he still ran the farm after his parents
Mhm.
passed away. But so did Dave. And they shared the farm in a way. And
Right.
Dave and Willie, they decided they wanted to make it a chop shop. And they
Mhm.
made it a chop shop for the Hells Angels chapter in Vancouver. Hells Angels. Don't mock me. Don't you fucking laugh at me.
You're talking like Lois.
Louise
Louise.
Picton. Helen. Oh, Helen.
Oh,
What are you
Helen.
saying? I can't understand a goddamn thing you're saying over there, Helen.
Gumming. Just gumming it.
Just gumming it. But yeah, so they decided to make it a chop shop. So obviously the farm went into disrepair. There were
Right.
broken cars everywhere, and
Fell
just
apart.
it was a bad place to be. It was often frequented by the Hells Angels. So I mean,
Mhm.
that alone is probably a pretty bad thing.
Right.
Now, a lot of people said that Dave was the one who ran the chop shop. It was just his idea. Dave was Mr. Popular. I know scary people, and I have girlfriends, and
Right.
he's very much like the attention
He was
seeker.
the
Where
popular stinky one.
exactly, but Willie was the one who actually ran the day to day.
He was
Of
the
the
busy
chop
bee
shop.
stinky one.
He was the busy bee stinky one. Yeah, he was the busy bee stinky one. But they would often hire, and this is again, this is a viewer discretion.
Mhm.
Some would call it a trigger warning, but they would often hire some mentally handicapped folks from the hospital
Mm.
down the road to do work for them. And one kid recalled Willie saying, "Hey, stay after work. I'm going to give you a ham. I'll give
Right.
you a ham," because Willie was known for just giving people meats from the various animals that he'd butchered.
Just meats.
He went as
That's it.
far as to butcher llamas. He went as far as to butcher emus, and he would buy all these animals at auction,
It's
the
exotic.
worst of them, like the surplus animals covered in sores and just bleh, awful. But he would, he would
I
give
scraped
people
this one
meats.
off the highway.
Yeah, I scraped this one off the highway. Willie's got the meats. He does.
He does got the meats.
And he would butcher these animals, and he would give people, oh, here's a ham or here's a steak or whatever. Now this kid, he was working with some other kids, and the kids were like, "Do not stay after work. Do not do that. Nothing good will come of this." And the kid was like, "Well, it's a free ham. How am I going to say no to a free ham?"
Mhm. Right.
So after work, he says, "Willie, you promised me this ham." And Willie goes to the back, and he comes out with this just mound of viscera,
Mhm.
essentially. And he
Yeah.
comes and he gives it to this kid. And the kid had no idea what the fuck it was. He knew it was no ham. And he said it didn't look like brains, but he didn't know what it was. It was not in
No,
any
yeah.
way, shape, or form ham. So
It's so
there's
gross.
that.
I just think it's weird that he handed it here you go.
Oh, and that's what he would
no
do with a lot of
wrapping,
people.
no bag,
wrapping,
nothing.
When he slaughtered an animal, he would just give you, "Here you go, put it in your pocket and go on."
Just carry it home.
Yeah, dude, I'm again, in no way am I kidding about this. This is
Yeah.
all very
No, it's
true.
it's very true. He was a filthy person who used filthy techniques, and he just dumped shit.
Yeah. No bag.
No
Nothing.
bag, no plastic,
Didn't
no
wrap
tin
it in
foil.
butcher paper, nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing good about Willie Picton.
He would remove it from the hog and then slap it in your hands.
Yeah, he would literally just hand you like a slab of
Pus
whatever
and
he
all.
happens to be butchering, which was oftentimes, not piggy. It was oftentimes like diseased emu or diseased llamas or diseased
animals.
chickens or diseased whatever he could get his fucking hands on because he was just
lowest
obsessed.
of the low.
He's obsessed at that point with butchering. And that's how he got through the day, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept his mom's business up, actually. He kept the meat freezers, and he still kept people's meats and stuff, in the freezers. But he also had his shit in the freezers.
Oh, God.
Probably literally his shit in the freezers.
Can you not put mine next to yours? Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Now, all of this to say, the
a little bit of maggots never hurt anybody.
Yeah, no way. What are you worried about maggots for, man? Extra proteins. Let's go.
Yeah.
All of this to say is Willie's time as a butcher would lead him over the course of 5 years to getting away with the murders of 49 women from the east downtown side of Vancouver. And it was that and, horrific police work done by so bad it's like you're gonna probably think it's like we're being dramatic, but like the police work
they didn't care.
The police work done during the Robert Pickton time was like so bad. It's like embarrassingly bad.
It's definitely a stain on the record of the police department out there.
And we're not talking about the Royal Mounted Canadian Police. Is that what it is? Royal Mounted something?
Yeah, I think that's the Mounties.
Which is the Canadian FBI, basically, the Mounties.
Right, the Mounties.
But yeah, so just like, it's so bad that it like makes me like angry. But we're going to talk more about that in the next episode.
Ugh.
Now, Dave was known as Piggy.
Yes.
Behind his back. Everybody called him Piggy because he was from the Pickton farm. So in 1996, Dave and Willie decided to establish a charity in the family's old fucking slaughterhouse called the Piggy Palace Good Times Society.
God. How you could think that was a good idea.
You must be a Pickton if you thought it was a good idea.
That'd be great. It's a spooky vibe. It'll be like Halloween every day.
I mean, like this, I'm not even joking. This slaughterhouse still had blood from like recently slaughtered
blood on
pigs.
The floors, hooks hanging from the ceiling. Like this shit was lit.
Yeah, no, it was gnarly as fuck. It sounds like Happy Simple Burger Farm.
It does.
A little bit. It's definitely like eking into that territory.
That's what that game was based on.
I'm sure partly. Like I'm almost sure that some of Texas Chainsaw Massacre was, but it wasn't, because
it would have to partly be like, I don't know, maybe design wise.
No, it came out prior.
Did it?
It came out prior to the Willie Picton murders.
Interesting.
Willie Picton murders happened in the 90s. Texas Chainsaw was like 1974, so maybe these people were just inspired. But they went on to make their slaughterhouse into the Piggy Palace Good Times Society, and they would hold parties of like these epic proportions. Thousands of people would show up. I believe at the one point the highest amount of people there was like 1,850. And they would have bands play, and they had all these things, and they were under a ruse of being a charitable society. They said, the money from the proceeds go to the charity of our choice. And Dave and Willie obviously were big fucking pieces of shit, so they didn't even know what a good place is to give the money, and of course they were pocketing it. Yeah. And then they ran a chop shop for the fucking Hells Angels. Yeah. And all of this they got away with like completely. Like
there was just no care. They were like, they're just good guys. They smell a little bad, but they're good guys.
Oh, they're good guys. They're Willie, he likes slaughter. He gave me a ham the other day. I don't think it was a ham though. When I started cooking it, I started popping. But it was a little ham. It oozed some sort of yellow substance. But he gave it to me. He must be a pretty nice guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, that old Willie Picton. Needless to say, not very good folks. Yeah. But, it was still a charity. They established it as a charity. And, while it may have been strange, it was a rager. People would go every weekend to the Piggy Palace Good Time Society's parties. Now, what actually happened at these parties was drug and alcohol fueled rave shows, parties, like gang. Okay, hold on. Your discretion is advised. I'm going to say that again. Gang rapes would go on. Sexual assault would happen. Like the worst of the criminal underworld of Vancouver would find their way to the Piggy Palace Good Time Society.
I mean, if you do enough drugs,
or just
you
to the
tend
Piggy
forget
Palace.
that hundreds of thousands of pigs died there.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And people probably liked that. But, you know, as again, attended by Hell's Angels, drug addicts, and particularly...
Bad place.
Yeah. It was mainly attended by a lot of sex workers, specifically from the Low Track.
Yeah.
Now, the Low Track was an area, a 10-block strip in East downtown Vancouver. And you know what Skid Row is?
Right.
It's like Skid Row amplified to like the utmost degree. I think they boast like 1/4 of all the HIV cases in North America.
I didn't think a place like this could exist in Canada.
I didn't either.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had no clue that this was even possible.
When I learned about Low Track, I was like, oh God, I thought Canada was like a bright, beautiful wonderland, but no.
It's not all Tim Hortons and maple syrup.
It's not all Tim Hortons and maple syrupy and Linus Tech Tips.
And Linus Tech Tips.
But yeah, so, you know, a lot of the sex workers would show up from the Low Track area. Now, who was in charge of bringing the sex workers to the parties? None other than Willie Picton.
Oh, Willie.
Oh, Willie. We're going to get a lot more into that next episode.
He's so fucked up. He's so bad.
God. It is just, it's going to turn your stomachs. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Now, Willie spent a lot of time in that area, as is, because the rendering plant where he would take his animals' remains and get them turned into gelatin and all that kind of shit for celebrities to put on their faces and all that kind of stuff. You know, the buttholes of pigs and shit. If it's not a hot dog, it's a makeup. Delicious. Was not too far from the Low Track area.
Right.
So Willie obviously spent a lot of time there.
Spent some time down there.
Yeah, and the hold on, the what the fuck did I just call it? The rendering plant was called West Coast. I told you earlier. God damn it.
I forgot. I spaced it. West Coast something.
Renderings or something. I'll have that nailed down. But anyway, Willie was also somebody who never did any sort of drugs or drinking in his life. The most Willie ever did was he smoked a cigarette at the age of 12. And his mom, Louise,
most redeeming feature, I guess.
Right. His mom, Louise, was like, you know what? You better smoke an entire cigar and inhale it. And he broke that. He broke that real fast when he had to do that.
Yeah.
Now, again, he never did any sort of drugs, drinking, nothing like that. Matt and the radio should have been off. God damn it.
It should be on. Or it should be off. Is it still on?
Yeah, yeah, it's still on. Son of a bitch. Hold on a second.
We'll just take a minute and wait here.
Yeah, we're gonna just take.
Don't forget, guys. Sound alerts. Don't use them. Just don't use them.
Yeah, just don't use the channel points while we're doing the podcast. We'd definitely appreciate it. Where is it?
They should all be disabled. And if they're not disabled and you find them, they will be disabled. So
yeah, but also just don't use them because we're requesting you don't.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Matt and the radio?
Because remember, since we're waiting for this, all of this stuff gets uploaded to podcasts and every single podcasting platform out there, as well as YouTube. ! YouTube takes you to the Tech Mess YouTube, and there is a link to go to the Morbid Message Mondays YouTube.
You're fucking killing me right now. I could eat a burger right now.
All right, I'm out of.
You sick fucker.
I'm out of radio now.
You sick fucker. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, make sure you check out the YouTube channel.
Might as well use it while I got it.
Yeah. Anyway. So Willie was tasked with recruiting the women to the Piggy Palace parties. And it was at that time that there was a sharp increase in women's disappearance. God damn it. Let me try that again. And it was at that time that there was a sharp increase in women's disappearances from the Low Track area.
Much better, much better.
And that is where we will pick up for part 2 of The Pig Farm Killer.
It gets so much fucking worse.
Oh my God, it gets
so much worse.
Oh, next week is going to be so fucking disgusting. I mean, it's like the
We're
worst of the worst.
we're
Like,
probably just going to have to put a banner that says viewer discretion is advised because like it's a lot
it is
of horrible,
lot.
horrible stuff.
And here's the thing. I mean, it's going to get so much fucking worse. Like, and if you have any sort of like, if you believe that the police can do good things, these police cannot. This is the most infuriating case of like horrific investigation that I've ever heard. Ugh, God damn it.
It gets bad. It gets bad. Like this one was all the filthiness.
This is the filthiness. This is like, you know, the
actual
up of Willie
morbidness is next week.
Oh God. Whoa. I don't think we're going to get away with just 2 parts. This is going to be busy.
It's going to have to be 3 parts. There's no way.
Maybe 4. It could be 4. I mean, it's fucked. There's so much here. Because his trial was fucking not like, it's just insane. There's so much to go through. And again, we are going to be coming back next week with the Pig Farm Killer Part 2.
Part 2.
But folks, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Morbid Message Monday, our first ever serial killer episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do more.
It is our first serial killer.
Hell yeah.
Everything else we've done is mostly paranormal stuff.
We've done a lot of paranormal.
Yeah.
Mainly paranormal, actually. Alien stuff. Yeah, a lot of paranormal.
We like it.
But man, I'm super stoked. Madness 383, great podcast, but holy fuck. God, it makes me so happy. Like, I know that's probably horrible to hear, but like, I was really worried about being able to like portray this story in the correct manner.
That's bad, man.
You know, shit.
It's bad.
So that does make me happy. Now, I'd like to direct every single person in here. You're probably already there, but the Discord.
Yes.
Join the Discord, the Messanites Meeting Grounds, because that is where you can drop your ideas for future podcasts or future serial killers that you'd like us to go over. We can't guarantee that we will talk about them.
Future spooky concepts.
Future spooky concepts. Absolutely.
Whatever you got.
Oh man, I'm high on the serial killer life right now because this Robert Pickton shit is
it's good. It's good. It's good. Maybe we'll just do a series for a couple of weeks on like serial killers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would like to direct you all to the Discord, and I'd also like to direct you to the socials. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Hover, Expand.
If there's a platform we're not on, I'd be surprised at this point, aside from Snapchat, because I refuse to take part in it.
Yeah, we won't fucking Snapchat. Get the fuck out of here. No Snapchat. But
you're hungry? You want some bacon?
Do you want some not ham from Willie Picton's fucking
some
viscera
stanky bacon?
Anyway, folks, I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be that you're having. And well, I fucking hate you. I hate you so much. This is not Matt.
What? I was reading chat.
This is not new. This is not new.
I got distracted. I was reading chat.
I hope you have a great day or night or evening or whatever it happens to be that you're having, kindly viewer. And well,
goodbye.